Hi, my name is Graham Peterson. I'm currently the president of the United States Soccer Federation, and I'm here to tell you why Qatar should not be allowed to host the 2022 FIFA World Cup. To begin with, since their bid was accepted in 2010, there have been over 6,500 migrant worker deaths. Based off that alone, they have no business hosting the World Cup. However, the Qatari government has chalked it up to respiratory failure and cardiac arrest. But it's also worth noting that they don't perform any autopsies or conduct any investigations into these deaths. So, when you consider the extreme heat of a Qatari summer and the extremely poor working and living conditions that these workers face, it's no surprise that there have been that many deaths. And to top it all off, many of these workers will take out loans in order to come to Qatar, but there's a big issue in that 60 companies who are currently employing workers have not paid their employees or are withholding wages. And that is an extremely horrible issue when you consider the fact that their families back home are depending on that money to survive. So not only do they have plenty of human rights violations, but Qatar also had their bid accepted with tons of corruption surrounding it. On May 27, 2015, the world was shocked when the FBI stormed FIFA headquarters in Zurich, Switzerland. They made 7 arrests that day of various FIFA officials on charges of racketeering and corruption. It was later discovered that Qatar paid almost $880 million in total to various FIFA officials. Since then, 24 out of the 29 people who have been indicted for racketeering and corruption have been FIFA officials, the other 5 being various corporate executives. However, when you consider just how many FIFA officials were involved in this scheme to get Qatar to host the World Cup, there should be no reason why Qatar should still be allowed to host the World Cup, especially after those FIFA officials are out of FIFA or in jail. Another reason why Qatar cannot be allowed to host the 2022 World Cup is the massive scheduling issues that it creates. Because of the hot Middle Eastern summers, Qatar decided to move the tournament from the summer to November and December. Now, at face value, this seems like a great idea. They don't have to spend more money on cooling systems for their stadiums, and it's in a perfect time of the year for the Middle Eastern heat. But it happens during the middle of the European leagues, the biggest and most popular leagues in the world. The leagues which most of the players in the World Cup come from. So, those players will have to leave their club teams in the middle of the season, go to the World Cup, play a high volume of games in a short period of time, come back and finish out their season. As we've seen with the pandemic seasons, this creates a high volume of injuries. Now, we also want to keep the players safe, but it's also about viewership. In the United States, November and December are usually reserved for the NFL, college football, the NBA, college basketball. However, if you have the World Cup competing with those sports for viewership, you will see a serious decline in American attention. Now, we both want to see the game grow in this country. However, that can't happen if we have the World Cup at the same time as America's biggest sports. People will not be watching. In order to ensure that removing the World Cup from Qatar goes smoothly, I have a few recommendations. The first of which being that the 2022 World Cup should be hosted by North America. We have already had our joint bid accepted for 2026, and we have the necessary infrastructure to pull it off with short notice. Number 2, the Qatari national team should still be allowed to play in the World Cup. Part of the reason why small countries love to host the World Cup is because they automatically qualify. They don't have to go through regional qualifiers. And because the men's national team did nothing wrong. They had nothing to do with these human rights violations or any of the corruption. They simply play soccer. So they should be allowed to still live out their dream. And lastly, Qatar should be given another chance. If the North America bid is moved from 2026 to 2022, there will be an open slot for 2026. And I believe that Qatar should still be allowed to host. Yes, they did win it unfairly. However, I think that with an ethics council overseeing them from FIFA and Amnesty International also overseeing them to ensure no more bribery in FIFA, I believe that they can safely finish constructing all the necessary things in order to ensure this tournament is okay. While we will never regain the lives of the migrant workers that have passed within the last 11 years, I do believe that if you remove the World Cup from Qatar, there will be no more loss. Please, remove the World Cup from Qatar. We do not need any more deaths associated with this game. Thank you.